To quickly address the title, it's very difficult to find a definitive answer to whether the time to kill in Destiny 2 is too slow. But when you start to weigh pros and cons, your personal answer starts to become more clear. Historically speaking, games like Call of Duty had typically had a faster time to kill, whereas the Halo series has had a slower time to kill, and Destiny finds itself somewhere in the middle. To quickly go over the bullet points for faster time to kill, it favors reaction speed, critical hits matter less, the fight is over sooner, so there's less time to move, it's easier to flank, team shot is an instant kill, and the fights happen so fast there's not even time for callouts. Pre-firing is a competitive necessity, and it makes ability gameplay less important. To contrast this, a slower time to kill favors precision and movement, allows for thinking mid-gunfight, gives you a chance to 180-degree turn and still win. It's more difficult to flank, but it acts as a lag buffer online gaming. There's ping, there's lag. Slow time to kill rewards good tracking, and team shot prevents escape. It rewards a player who can call out while shooting an opponent. Let's make this abundantly clear. Neither is more skillful than the other. Time to kill is preference and is purely opinion. Some people prefer basketball, and others prefer football, but both require a high degree of athleticism and skill. Each time to kill preference gives an advantage to a specific skill set. Don't turn this debate into a KD measuring contest. There seems to be a lot of conflicting complaints in the Destiny community at the moment. On one side of the fence, you have people asking for a faster time to kill, and on the other side, you have people complaining that the Vigilance Wing kills in 0.83. Granted, it takes 100% headshots to kill, but still. What I'm alluding to is that time to kill isn't the only way to measure a weapon's effectiveness. People often look back into Destiny 1 and remember the IS Luna as the epitome of skill, but when looking back, it only takes a 33% headshot ratio to get the kill, which is garbage compared to D2, considering the faster time to kills need a 100% critical ratio. But again, in Destiny 2, some guns go beyond time to kill for effectiveness, like in-air accuracy. While these guns may not sport the fastest TTK in the game, they offer you an entirely new skill set to overwhelm your opponent. And you also have to take into account when comparing Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 that the weapon systems are totally different. Destiny 1 sports a primary special heavy, and Destiny 2 sports a kinetic energy power system. I'll repeat this for emphasis. People look back on Destiny 1 and remember IS Luna as the epitome of skill. Well, it turns out that every single Destiny patch, I get a group of friends together, we private match each other, and then we test everything that they said they changed in the patch, and this time, I got all the weapon drop-offs. And I noticed something interesting. When looking back at old IS Luna drop-off testing, you can see that the Antiope only lags behind it 3 meters. Yet the time to kill difference is only 0.03, and the Antiope requires more headshots. Imagine that. But before I get ahead of myself, I realize I'm comparing apples to oranges, so let's continue. Destiny 2's weapon system allows you to combine a kinetic and energy weapon to cover a multitude of ranges, but the caveat, the drawback being, that you can't cover every range optimally. This chart is accurate, by the way, if you ever want to reference it. Let's go over some popular weapon combos, the Old Fashioned and the Hero's Burden. As you can see, the Old Fashioned excels at medium range and can somewhat do close range. The Hero's Burden excels at close range, but can somewhat do point blank range. The Antiope D excels at close range and can somewhat do medium range. The Darkest Before can handle medium long, and can adequately handle medium range. The ever so popular Mida Uriel's combo, Mida can handle very long range, and even medium long. The Uriels can handle medium range and somewhat medium long, but as you can see, in point blank and close distance, they lag severely. Now onto the Drewski loadout. We have the Vigilance Wing, which handles itself well at medium distance and medium long, and the Traveler's Judgment, which helps melees and can somewhat handle close distance. Take special emphasis that these loadouts I'm mentioning cannot handle every single range in Destiny 2. A Mida will still outshoot a Vigilance Wing. But when I mention Destiny 1, like the popular IS Luna Icebreaker combo, you see that every range is accounted for. Same thing with No Land Beyond and Wormwood, and I'm not being partial to the sandbox. Even when you revert it back to year 1, you can still see somewhat of a coincidence. Do you remember the days where the last word could 2-tap even though you aim down sights and that totally makes it RNG whether or not it's going to hit a random 111? I remember those days. Do you remember the days where Thorn had the range of a scout rifle and Fellwinter's Lie had the range of a sniper? I sure do. When putting a D1 loadout and a D2 loadout side by side, you can see the root of some of the causes of the community frustrations. The obvious point being that in Destiny 2, you have to be somewhat tactical about your loadout choices. And remember, this is a team game. It's not a 1v1. This is precisely why you build your team to cover multiple ranges. If I combine Annie Darkest Before teammate with a Mighty Uriel's teammate, you'll see that in the medium to medium long distance, we cross over. Take this example of a trials match, for instance. If you're playing 4 Mighty Uriel's players, all you have to do is throw on an SMG and get up close, because what are they going to do? Shoot you with an auto rifle? But now let's say you're playing a team that actually balances their loadouts, and notice that one of them is using an Einstein D, so that if they happen to team shot, they kill someone instantly instead of having to take 2 shots apiece. Unlike the last team, you can't just throw on an SMG and overpower them in close quarters. To beat this team, you have to try to isolate someone, then collapse from multiple simultaneous angles. Never blindly peek because, like I said, they can instant kill you. Let's hypothetically say that D2 is reverted back to D1. You would see Isluna Icebreaker and No Land Beyond Wormwood, and truthfully what you would see is a lot of hardscoping. They have full map coverage, they can instant kill you from any distance, and you will pretty much die to an optimal TTK at any distance. Again, I realize I'm comparing apples to oranges, so please don't get pissed at me. It's just not my cup of tea. Someone's probably typing in the comments right now, but at least Destiny 1 didn't have as much team shot, which is just really silly in concept when you think about it. I mean, in professional sports, is it unfair that a quarterback gets tackled by multiple people at once? In terms of video games though, teamwork exists in every team-based game. If this bothers you, I'd advise looking for a game that offers a fair 1v1 game mode, like Halo Octagon. But team shot's the worst in Destiny 2. All they do is hold hands. If only I had my special ammo back. But I'm happy to report that if you look beyond the surface level of Destiny 2, the hand-holding strategy is very basic and easy to defeat. I have to repeat it for emphasis. If you dislike a team-based first-person shooter, the fact that teamwork is effective, you are playing the wrong genre of game. There's pretty much an endless supply of 1v1 fighting games, so feel free, take your pick. But Cammy, I play Destiny 2 because it's the looter shooter. Well, that is a very valid point. The randomness in looter shooters, the random rolls, ruins competitive. And no trading system to offset the RNG, it just is a recipe for disaster when people are asking for fair PvP. And don't pretend like people aren't asking for fair PvP or they never asked for it in the past. I mean, that's pretty much the entire lifespan of Destiny. I feel terrible for Bungie having to deal with this stuff. But back to random rolls. The best gun is the one with the most optimal stats. Which would you prefer if they had the same roll? An IS Luna or Lord High Fixer? Once you get a perfect roll, all the other weapons of the same archetype are inferior and useless. It's the same issue as we have with fixed rolls now, except with random rolls you experience that eventually, and it's totally up to chance. The fixed roll system, on the other hand, is inherently more competitive because everyone is on an even playing field, and it allows for balance between guns with optimal stats and guns with suboptimal perks. For example, the Dire Promise has garbage perks but a great recoil pattern, the Midnight Q has great perks, average recoil, average stats, the Sunshot has explosive flinch with a great range, and the Jack Queen King has insane range with average perks and recoil. See, there's a reason to use each of those. But if random rolls exist, there's still a chance we run into the same IS Luna problem, where IS Luna is the superior hand cannon, so instead of using different hand cannons, you just get multiple IS Lunas with different perks. I also realized that at the end of the day, some players only play Destiny for a chance to pull the slot machine arm. We need a healthy population for this game to thrive, so random rolls may be a necessary evil. Is compromise possible though? Truthfully, yeah. What if you had an option to swap to random rolls, whereas a competitive playlist would force fixed rolls? I could see this being a very fair compromise for the entire Destiny community. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm not saying that by watching this video you should agree with any of my preferences. In fact, I almost say the opposite. I just want to put my thoughts out there. Remember, this is all opinion based. TTK is preference. What you like about Destiny 2 is preference. Thank you, and good night.